Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So the talk of the town has been tariffs, 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 and tariffs. And President Donald Trump has recently imposed significant tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China, as we all well know, citing national security concerns and the need to address trade imbalances, meaning that America has not been given a fair deal. And specifically, a 25% tariff have been placed on goods from Canada and Mexico, with a 10% tariff on Chinese imports. And Trump, he has acknowledged that Americans might experience some economic discomfort due to these measures, but argues that they are necessary to protect the nation's interests. So Trump has come to the table and finally revealed some things he probably didn't want to, because there's been many economists, there's been many people in the financial world stating that, yeah, there can be some positive effects of tariffs and there can be some negative effects of tariffs. Some even alluded that tariffs on particular countries, the reason why they kept the income tax implemented is that that led to the 1929 Great Depression. And so again, a lot of research of what occurred during that time has been done to see if we somehow revisit that Great Depression because of these tariffs. But again, that is preliminary and no one has made any definitive answers in those regards. Now, in defending these tariffs, President Trump accused Canada of being very abusive towards the United States in terms of trade practices. He suggests that Canada has taken advantage of the U.S. in various trade agreements, necessitating these stringent measures to rectify the situation. Trump has also warned that these tariffs may cause Americans to feel some pain, acknowledging the possibility of increased prices on importing goods. However, he emphasized that this short-term discomfort is a necessary step towards achieving long-term economic benefits and fair trade practices. And I guess the questions that a lot of us may have is, initially, these prices may increase. Are they ever going to decrease? Or is this going to be the new American norm of consumer pricing? Will it be 10, 15, 20%, whatever equals out the amount that people are paying for these tariffs and trade and this essential war that's going on? Now, a lot of economists have come out and saying that China, Mexico, and Canada will not be paying any of these tariffs. Is the American companies who are accepting these products, who these products are being imported to, that they will be paying these tariff prices, and that will increase consumer prices for Americans. It is a direct correlation of the price gouge or the price increase or the price hikes that we'll have with our own consumer products right here in America. So again, he has come out and stated that initially we will feel some pain when it comes to the increase of prices. And in response to the U.S. tariffs, Canada has announced its own set of retaliatory tariffs on American products. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has emphasized the need for dialogue over confrontation, but has made it clear that Canada will defend its economic interests. That's very interesting. And the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has also announced plans for retaliatory measures against the U.S., while specifics are emerging, okay? And these details are still coming out. But Mexico is preparing tariffs on various American goods and is seeking dialogue to resolve the dispute. There's a lot going on with Mexico right now, with a lot of illegal immigrants from that region, from that country in Central America altogether are being deported, as well as this so-called trade war that we have going on. So again, I don't know how heightened the relationship between America and Mexico is occurring, but hopefully we can get back to a deal that benefit both countries when we're talking about trade, as well as Mexicans, illegal Mexicans, as well as illegal Hispanics being deported to Mexico or Central America, being rightfully reconstituted back into their country with opportunities awaiting them so they can live a better life. And if they want to come to America, they come to America in the right way, by the way of legal immigration. So again, I think these are very, very important that we note take these things together. And again, economists warn that this escalating trade conflict could lead to increased consumer prices. And one thing that has not been mentioned very widely and very broadly is the potential job loss in affected industries and broader economic instability in America. the situation remains fluid because it's ever so changing, and with ongoing discussions about possible resolutions and the long-term impact on the international trade relations. And hopefully that the things that Trumps are doing are going to benefit Americans. And I told people this. We cannot be quick to really judge Donald Trump in his first 2 years, because we have to allow things to really mature and matriculate and transform within the government. We have to have for these things to see how they affect our economy. Some things may be very, very, quick. We may see some changes very quickly, but other things is going to take time. And I think we truly need to give time to some of the executive orders, some of the things that Trump is doing behind the scenes with trade deals and speaking to other world leaders. So again, a lot of these things we will have to wait until they mature, until we can see that, the actual benefit for them all together. Now, Musk and Trump agreed. And I did a broadcast on this last night about the USAID. You guys should go check that out. And basically, a lot of the payments that have been coming out the USAID office have been to fraudulent entities as well as terrorist entities. And something that Elon Musk team found is that all the payments that were going to all these different people, all these different organizations, all these different entities, they have never stopped payment. They have never done an investigation as far as showing that a lot of these entities were fraudulent and a lot of these entities were terrorist groups, but they have yet not to pay a payment, meaning that from the in the extent of a lot of these people careers that worked in this organization, they continue payments to a lot of these entities that they found in a very short time that a lot of them were fraudulent payments and a lot of them are possible terrorist groups. So again, we're finding more and more about the American tax dollar and how we're not benefiting from it, and how other countries, other people, other places, organizations, even terrorist groups are benefiting from American taxpayers. So again, I think that this is a good thing. We are simply open up the glove box and we're finding everything that's in it. This is actually a good thing in my opinion. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but emails have revealed that executives from the NFL's New Orleans Saints office were more involved in this previously known in assisting the local Catholic archdiocese with damage control during a clergy sex abuse crisis. The team's executive reportedly helped shape the archdiocese public relations strategy, raising questions about the appropriateness of their involvement. Now, the New Orleans Saints' involvement in managing the Archdiocese of New Orleans clergy sex abuse crisis was more extensive than previously revealed. And these emails obtained by the Associated Press showed the participation of Saints executives in a public relations campaign to mitigate the fallout from the church handling of the abuse cases. And the campaign involved drafting talking points, advising the archbishop, and communicating with media outlets to control the narrative. The efforts were driven by the team's devout Catholic owner, Gal Benson, who has a close relationship with the Archbishop Gregory Allman. The emails contradict the Saints' public claims of minimal involvement. No, they have more involvement than what they put off initially. It revealed that the team officials were deeply involved in shaping the list of accused priests and strategizing with church leaders. The revelation have drawn criticism and may have violated NFL policies. The close collaboration between the Saints and the Catholic Church, including involvement from local media and judiciary figures, highlighting the intertwined nature of New Orleans institution. So a lot of you may not been aware of this story, that these New Orleans Saint executives high in office have been helping the Catholic Church to kind of put dirt under the rug of some of these sex abuse cases and the crisis that the Catholic Church has been going through altogether. But they've been using NFL or New Orleans Saints resources, and they've been highly supportive of trying to hide or reword or strategize how to maneuver, while they told the NFL, yeah, we didn't really have that much involvement. We kind of told the archbishops by the archdiocese that, just pray on it. That's all we told them. We just prayed with them. But no, they had a lot more involvement than that. Now, this next segment I'm about to go into, I just want to give a disclaimer, because in America, we understand, and I've stated this many times on this channel, about the inception of America, how America was built, how America was created, how America is what it is today. And it was by three major groups, okay? When it comes to people who were here, you had the indigenous Black folk and the indigenous Native Americans that were here prior to the European colonizers. And then you also have the enslaved Black folk that we know of that came from all parts of Africa, mostly West Africa. But in America, we've always been taught history, okay? And for quite some time, Black history has been overlooked, even though Black history is American history. But Black history was not being taught in a lot of these non-Black areas. Like, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., so at the time that I was growing up in DC was like 70% Black. It was Chocolate City. So of course they were teaching Black history, but we just learned. We learned US history, world history, Black history, American history. We learned all different types of history. But when you go into other pockets of America, even though they may have, let's say 7% Black folk in the Washington state area, not Washington DC, but Washington state on the West Coast, they don't teach much Black history. They teach Martin Luther King, maybe George Washington Carver, those very basic type names. But Black Americans have been on the forefront of innovation in all different areas, whether it be medical technology, food, advancements in innovation, AI, all these, robotics. Because as we go through this journey of Black History Month, and a lot of people were stating in line on Donald Trump, stating that he canceled Black History Month. He didn't cancel Black History Month. He stopped some of the funding of these federal programs, but this is, again, some of the streamlining that he does. But again, what were these programs benefiting? Now, as a Black American myself, white Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, I learned about everybody. I learned Asian American history. A lot of things occur from the Chinese exclusion. I learned about Hispanic American history, the Alamo, all these things that we learn being Americans. But we understand, and some of you understand, that Black American history has been overlooked, have been extracted from textbooks. So there may be a bigger ploy to overlook the achievements of Black Americans and the innovations and the contributions of Black Americans in this country. So people don't deem Black life as important as other people because they don't see the contributions that we have made and the contributions that we are making. And I've mentioned people like Lonnie Johnson, NASA engineer, who created, the Super Soaker, the Nerf gun, etc. We know the Hidden Figures, where these three Black, beautiful, intelligent women came up, and they call them, human computers, that came up with some of the algorithms to get our astronauts into space. A lot of these things have to be revealed in many different ways, mostly by movies, because people are not simply reading about them and learning about the contributions of Black Americans in this country. So Black American history is American history, but we have this month in order to show people who may not be inclined or who may not be a history buff or even know that much about Black American history, to teach them this. And again, a lot of people are like, oh, what about Black history? What about White History Month? Well, here's the thing about White History Month. You guys have all the months. Yeah, there's a Hispanic Heritage Month, but white history is taught everywhere, all the time, every day. We know about it. As Black Americans, we know white American history and we know Black American history. Okay. But again, we had to extract our history to pinpoint it because our history is really watered down with Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver, maybe a Benjamin Banneker here and there. But that's for the most part. That's the only thing people know about Black Americans. Oh, Martin Luther King. Oh, well, you got that other guy who carried guns, Malcolm X, and he was talking about some very radicalized things with the Nation of Islam and stuff like that. No. It's a lot more people than that. And I would incline for you guys who may be non-Black Americans to sit and listen because I think this next segment very quickly would be important for you to learn someone that you may not have known of before. Okay? So with that being said, let's jump right into it. I want you guys first to imagine a world where open heart surgery was impossible. A world where a severe chest wound meant certain death. Now imagine the audacity, the brilliance, and the courage it took for one Black man in the 19th century against all odds to change that reality. That man was Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. He was a pioneer Black surgeon who performed one of the first successful open heart surgeries in 1893. His legacy not only shattered racial barriers in medicine, but also laid the foundation for modern cardiac surgery and Black excellence in healthcare. Born in 1856 in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, Daniel Hale Williams faced a society entrenched in racism and exclusion, but he refused to be limited by the restrictions placed on Black Americans. After working as a barber to support himself, he pursued his passion for medicine, attending Chicago Medical College, now Northwestern University, Fernberg School of Medicine, a rarity for a Black man at the time. But after earning his medical degree in 1883, Williams quickly became known for his meticulous surgery skills, passion for patient care, and unwavering commitment to providing medical treatment to underserved communities, mostly Black American patients, who were routinely denied care in segregated hospitals. One of his greatest achievements was the establishment of Providence Hospital and Training School for Nurses in 1891, the first Black-owned and operated hospital in the United States. This wasn't just a hospital, it was a revolutionary institution that provided medical care to Black patients and offered training for Black nurses and doctors who were often denied opportunities at white-ran medical institutions. At Providence, Dr. Williams fostered an environment of excellence and innovation, ensuring that Black medical professionals could refine their skills and serve their communities. This was a direct challenge to the racist medical establishment, proving that Black Americans could not only provide medical care, but also could lead the way in medical advancement, because in July 10th, 1893, would become a defining moment in medical history. A young man named James Cornish arrived at Providence Hospital with a stab wound dangerously close to his heart. In an era where heart surgery was unheard of, where even touching the heart was considered fatal, most doctors would have simply treated the surface wound and hoped for the best. But not Dr. Williams. No, Dr. Williams was a visionary. He was a visionary with steady hands and an unbreakable spirit. He performed a risky but precise surgery, carefully suturing the pericardium, the sac surrounding the heart, something that had rarely, if ever, been attempted successfully. No modern anesthetics, no x-rays, no antibiotics, just sheer skill, intelligence, and determination. Against all odds, James Cornish survived and walked out of the hospital fully recovered in 51 days later. Now, Dr. Williams' operation is now recognized as one of the first successful open heart surgeries in world history, proving that the heart was not untouchable and paving the way for future advancement in cardiac surgery. Dr. Williams didn't just make history with his surgical feats, he opened doors for countless Black medical professionals. His leadership extended beyond the operating room because he was appointed as the first Black surgeon at Freeman's Hospital in Washington, D.C., where he trained future Black doctors. He became a charter member on the National Medical Association, also known as the NMA, in 1895, an organization dedicated to Black physicians when the American Medical Association excluded them. He served as chief surgeon at Chicago's Southside Dispensary and later at St. Luke's Hospital, breaking barriers in predominantly white medical spaces. His legacy is directly linked to today's Black doctors, surgeons, and medical pioneers. Who ever heard of DEI initiatives back then? Who ever heard of affirmative action? Because again, it never benefited Black folk in the first place. This is the achievements of a Black man who did great and wonderful things, who continue his fight for equity in healthcare and medical innovation for Black doctors and Black nurses altogether. Now, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams' contributions extend far beyond one surgery or one hospital. He showed the world that Black excellence in medicine was undeniable. He challenged a racist system that tried to keep Black professionals out and proved that not only could Black doctors succeed, they could revolutionize medicine itself. Today, as we celebrate Black medical professionals saving lives, conducting research, and breaking barriers, we must remember that they stand on the shoulders of giants like Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a man whose courage, intellect, and commitment to his people changed the world forever. His story is not just history. It's a blueprint for Black innovations, resilience, and greatness. And last but not least, the achievements of Black Americans, one of the achievements of Black Americans in this country that we all know and love, these United States of America. Thank you for joining me here this morning. You guys have a great, wonderful day. This is Blacklogic.